There are Red Wings prospects all over the world, and the ones that we pay attention to the most happen to be the ones from Sweden. Because Hockey Sverige has been very good when it comes to producing Red Wings talents over the years. You go back decades, even into the most recent Wings tenure. You have guys like Berggren, Seider, Lucas Raymond coming out of the SHL, but we don't normally talk too much about NCAA Red Wings talent. Today, that changes. Because when it comes to the current national collegiate scene for men's ice hockey, there is one guy who is leading the nation in goals, and he's so freaking good that he deserves a video about him. Let's go over to the University of Denver, the reigning national champion University of Denver, by the way, and talk about Red Wings' third-round pick in the 2021 draft, Carter Mazur. Because when it comes to this guy, he's a player that we did talk about back when he was drafted. Remember that entire spree that we went on in 2021 where he made a video about every single Red Wings, Canucks, and Canadiens draftee? Well, Mazur was included in that, but it was just kind of a surface-level, baseline kind of video. Today I wanted to dive a little bit deeper because when it comes to Mazur, he's 20 years old. March 28th, 2002 is the birth date. He is a 6 feet, 172-pound right-handed left-wing player. And as we had said, he was a third-round guy by Detroit. Taken 70th overall back in 2021, in this season's worth of play, he was a pretty good point producer. He was a point per game for the USHL's Tri-City Storm as their captain, and that point production level for a guy who was draft eligible, it isn't too spectacular, but it is good enough to get you probably a draft pick in the NHL Draft. And that's exactly what happened with Mazur here. Even though he did go 70th, he was ranked to go a lot later by future considerations. They had him at number 127, and McKeen's had him at number 121. NHL Central Scouting had Mazur as their 67th ranked North American prospect, which, if you're combining it with the European list, probably maps out to somewhere, let's say, in the 100-plus-ish territory range. So, lo and behold, Mazur kind of went a lot earlier than people thought he should have been able to go, but it's okay, because the Red Wings had themselves the scouting, they had themselves the vision. There actually isn't any scouting report that I can find about Mazur from this era in 2021, but if we go over as to what Mazur has been doing lately, things get really good really quickly. Because immediately, suiting up for the University of Denver as a freshman, last season, Mazur had 38 points in 41 games played. 14 goals, 24 assists. He produced pretty much the same rate he did in his first year of NCAA eligibility as he did in his last season of junior hockey. Take a look at the awards that he was able to win in this time frame. He was on the All-Rookie team, he was the NCHC's Rookie of the Year, and he also won the championship at the Nationals because the University of Denver was a very good hockey team. He also suited up for Team USA at the World Juniors, getting 7 points in 5 games over there. He was a goal-a-game guy. And the fact that the tournament was actually held in the summer this year is one of the reasons that Mazur kind of goes out there and labels as why he was so ready for this season's worth of NCAA play in his sophomore year. There was an article published on The Athletic how the Red Wings prospect Carter Mazur has found a new level as the NCAA's leading scorer. Yeah, spoiler alert, he's number 1 in the nation in goals. Link will be in the description if you want to go ahead and read this article. It's on The Athletic, it's behind a paywall, but it is a very good piece of journalism from Max Boltman that goes over the entire philosophy. It goes over quotes from Mazur himself. It goes over quotes from other people that are important to the story about how he's playing. But this season in the NCAA, Carter Mazur has 12 games played, 12 goals, and 3 assists for 15 total points. He is a goal-a-game guy, and he's the number 1 goal scorer in the entire NCAA when it comes to just pure, raw, hard goals. He's above Mackie Samoskevich, Grant Cruikshank, and everybody else in the league. Sure, for points, he's not really all too high up there. I mean, he's in the top 30, but top 30 is not number 1. At the same time, though, it is very nice just seeing him going out there and doing what he's doing. In terms of points per game, he is also one of the top guys. He's in the top 20 in that respect. If you sort this by under 21 players, though, you'll see that Mazur is 6th in the NCAA when it comes to overall points. And, of course, his goal scoring is still number 1. But either way, when it comes to Mazur, this is what the Dauber report says. From June of 2022, so before the World Juniors and after his really good season, Mazur had a pretty fantastic transition from the USHL to the NCAA. His University of Denver Pioneers took home the championship, and he was a big part of it as a freshman. He had the 4th most time on ice for forwards on the team, and was 2nd in points per game, behind only senior Cole Guttman. Despite this strong production, I'm not sure how well it will translate to the NHL. He was on a dominant and offensively gifted NCAA team that finished second in goals behind only Minnesota State, so his point totals may be inflated. Mazur's ability to translate this offense to the professional ranks will be the next step, and I remain skeptical. In leagues that value hits, on the other hand, he will be valuable as he registered nearly 2 hits per game in under 17 minutes of ice time, Victor Nuno writes. Now, the Athletic article that we talked about goes over a lot of the transformation, which is why I highly recommend you to go out there and read it if you do have the Athletic. But pretty much, there's a lot of quotes in here talking about what Mazur was able to focus on, how he's focusing more on his shooting ability, his shot from range, etc., etc. He also talked about the World Juniors and how that allowed him to pretty much keep his focus on heading into the sophomore season. Also the fact that the Denver Pioneers lost out on a good amount of their overall talent from last season's worth of play. Bobby Brink, Carter Savoie, of course that senior Cole Gutman, and Brett Stapley, they're all gone. So when it comes to who's leading the charge for a team that is still ranked to being one of the best teams in the NCAA this season, you have sophomore Carter Mazur going out there and leading the charge in terms of their goals. And man, if you go over to the Red Wings highlights pages, you see what Mazur has been doing to get these goals. These are some pretty legit goals, not gonna lie. He is stealing pucks on the back check, reversing onto the forecheck, and sniping it from out in the distance on the hash marks. He is getting primetime opportunities to just throw it towards the net, and it's been working for him. Now, sure, the article on The Athletic talks about this as well, but his shooting percentage is 31% right now, as he's got 39 shots on goal in 12 games, and of course 12 goals in the process too. That shooting percentage is not sustainable, unfortunately, but at the same time, we just kind of have to wait and see how far it's able to go. I don't necessarily think that Mazur is going to get a goal a game on the season and proceed with his 12 goals in 12 game rate for the rest of the year, but at the same time, that's not a reason to go out there and devalue what he's done so far. He's been very good, he's been scoring quality goals, and he's really picking off where he left off from last season's worth of a freshman year. So for the Red Wings, this is a guy that, third round pick up until right now, this is a crazy good transformation for a guy that was just barely a point per game in his draft eligible year 2 years ago. He's now the #1 NCAA goal scorer. Who cares if it's not sustainable? He's over there right now, and at the same time, he's playing a lot better than a normal third-round pick probably should be able to play 2 seasons after the draft. And so, heading into the next few months, we're going to be paying attention to Carter Mazur and his progress with the Denver Pioneers. We're going to see what he does next season as well, maybe sign a contract, play in Grand Rapids a bit, see if his goal scoring can actually translate into higher levels of play, because, Nuno on the Dumber Prospects report is kind of skeptical of that. But either way, there still is a lot to look forward to with the Red Wings and their young guys. This is just one of the guys in the system that I felt was worth talking about, and he happens to not be from Sweden. So, ton of the concert your thoughts about Carter Mazur and everything he's done so far. What are your thoughts if you're a Pioneers fan and you've been seeing the games about the team actually getting worse, but Mazur stepping up and filling in the very big shoes that were left to fill in this organization? Do you think the team is going to go far, win a national championship yet again? If the season ends off somewhere in April, for example, then we might be able to see Mazur get some NHL action if he decides to sign, of course, but we'll get there when we get there, as Mr. Incredible said once. Talk to the comments though either way all your thoughts about Mazur and the prospect development that has been going on with him. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.